There are a host of other factors at play, and our relationships with our children are way more nuanced and complicated than that. That said, being honest with yourself, based on your experience with these questions or whatever other proxies you choose to draw on, is what's important here. Please note, regardless of where you assess your relationship with your child to be right now, it's okay. There is no judgment here, truly. You are exactly where you are, and exactly where you are is okay. Your relationship with your child is not stagnant, and acknowledging some or even a lot of strain is not a life sentence. Far from it. In fact, the idea that rupture and repair is not only necessary in, but beneficial to parent-child relationships is well grounded in research. Ruptures, moments or periods of disconnection in the relationship, are both natural and inevitable. What's important is the nature of the repair, how quickly and effectively parents and children can come back into sync and reconnect after losing each other. Your child's seemingly excessive tantrums may be a sign that a repair is needed, that the two of you are out of sync and have to find each other again. Because if your relationship is ruptured and you are as tense as Jackie was when describing her recent interactions with Declan, there is no doubt in my mind that your toddler or preschooler senses that. As we've discussed, young children are sponges, acutely aware of the emotions and energies that surround them, especially when it comes to their parents. And if your child senses a lack of connection between you, she will experience this as overwhelming, and the tantrums will continue in full force. All the behavioral strategies in the world won't begin to touch the tantrums children throw when the parent-child relationship feels broken or out of whack in some way. The relationship between you and your child is the foundation. We need to make sure that it's sturdy and strong before we even attempt to build on it by introducing new skills and strategies, yours and your child's. Loving our children for who they are, even when that's not pretty. Secure attachment. So how do we do that? First, we have to decide what a strong and healthy relationship between a parent and child looks like. I could write a whole book, scratch that, 10 whole books, about that. Parent-child relationships that lead to positive child outcomes are typically characterized by a secure attachment, about which I could also write 10 whole books, except I never would because others have, and many are quite good. In short, within the framework of attachment theory, and as borne out in decades of research, parents of children who are securely attached are attuned to their children and respond to their needs in a developmentally appropriate, contingent manner. In plain English, children need to feel that their parents get them, that they see, accept, and love them for who they are, even when things get tough. So what does this look like exactly? Let me use a personal example. I recently backed into a parked car. It was raining, I was doing a 3-point K-turn on a dead-end street, and I reversed the car right into the driver's side door of a parked sedan. I got out to examine the damage and saw that I had in fact left a small, maybe a tiny bit bigger than small, dent. After snapping a picture and leaving a note with my contact information on the windshield, I promptly called my husband to share the news. His response? Ugh. But it was a really heartfelt, guttural, extended ugh. An ugh that I could tell, even over the phone, was accompanied by a wrinkling forehead and full stop. Ugh isn't even an English word, but in that one sound I felt gotten. Here's why. In that one syllable, I heard that my husband understood not just that fender benders are a bummer in general, anyone could get that, but that they are a particular bummer for me, that I've had just enough of them in my life to feel shame about my driving, that they trigger how insecure I sometimes feel about my poor visual spatial skills. I've been known to break a glass by banging it onto the granite counter in the process of missing the sink, and that I'd likely go on to spend the rest of the day anxiously contemplating the possibility that one day I'll get into a more serious accident, maybe even with the kids in the car. My husband's ugh was an acknowledgement of my history, my need for compassion in that moment. That my driving skills seem questionable to me is part of my stuff and the stuff of Chapter 4, and in knowing that, my husband showed he got me and accepted me despite
to keep listening to this audiobook. I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.